Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv / give us a slash, babe. Pow! / Ice Cream Uploads. As you can see on the screen now, if you're watching them on a video services, my name is Graham Day and the slash machine next to me is baby. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice, strong slash to start the day. Are we checking we've got the microphone audio?
Absolutely. I mean, it was over there. It's shown. Yep, we've got audio. And I've also got chat up on the screen now as well, because I always forget to do it. First thing.
Finally, says number one pirate, The Rock has come back to Polton filed me. That was weird. You wasn't showing up as live. We were for everyone else, but we just kind of like tried to stop it from you and
absolutely
shit man to me. Good morning, gents, says Precision TV.
Good morning.
Morning, Treacle. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Tuesday. He looks at the clock because he never remembers. The 19th of November, 2019. The second day of the week and the second scoop of the week. As you've seen already, I'll bring them back on screen. My name is Graham Day. I'm joined by Bibby, and we are your daily hosts of the scoop here on Ice Cream. The name is on purpose, you know, Ice Cream Scoop. That's the joke.
It took me a while to actually get... to actually figure that one out.
Did it?
Yeah. It wasn't immediate, but I'm just thick as shit anyway, so it don't matter.
The funniest thing is, though, I mean, sit up, babe. Let's have a look at your exclamation mark merch in the chat, by the way. Let's have a look at your esports jersey. So we are Ice Cream, and we are named that because the parent company is Jelly, and it's amazing how many people... Oh, sexy. You too could look like you're having a seizure on stage if you just type exclamation mark merch. Oh, there he is. Oh.
It's 2 sizes too big, but it does the fucking job.
Yeah. So, yeah, we are Ice Cream. Ice Cream Uploads, and the parent company is Jelly, and that is on purpose, Jelly and Ice Cream. And it's amazing when you tell it to people that have been working around the brand for ages, and then they kind of go...
Mind blown.
What? How did I not know this?
I've just realised I've got 2,500...
Quid?
No. Yeah, right. Whatever the channel coins... what are they actually called?
The stream points.
Stream points. Is that? We need to figure a better name than that.
Points that you get in a stream.
No, I've got 2,500.
It's Ron Seal. Does exactly what it says on the stream.
I don't know. It's shit, isn't it? Everyone will have stream points. We need to.
Yeah,
I mean, try and find a cool name for that.
Well, the stream points is the name of them, but I think we can. We might have the ability to edit that sort of stuff, like in terms of what people can spend them on in the back end of the channel. Speaking of back ends, I don't know why I've said that, because the next thing has absolutely no relation to back ends as I give you the introduction. So today is Tuesday. We are going through the latest and greatest, and potentially not greatest, but there is some tasty news articles from the games industry and beyond. We give you our thoughts, and everyone that is watching live on twitch.tv / Ice Cream Uploads can give us stream sprinkles, says Next Gen again. Sorry, that completely distracted me there.
I was thinking hundreds of thousands, but then you actually putting a figure next to hundreds of thousands. I've got 2,500, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. God damn it. Anyway, so we all have twitch.tv / Ice Cream Uploads. If you are in the chat saying words like stream sprinkles, then please keep doing that, because you guys can give us your input on our input into the latest news. The guys watching later on youtube.com can't do that, so you have to be their voice. And the same for those that listen on 4 podcast services as we go live with the audio version of this podcast later on today. They are iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Pow.
The big dog, Tim Westwood. So we have some pretty tasty news. We've only got 4 pieces of news here today.
It's definitely something that we've been leading up to for a while, though. It's always nice because we had the what's launched recently? No, Death Stranding. We had Death Stranding like for weeks leading up to it. What it's going to be like, blah blah blah. The weathered that storm kind of thing, and now the thing that nobody's been looking forward to has now released.
I wonder if you guys in the chat can guess what we're talking about. What are we going to be speaking about? What has released recently? And we're not talking about Star Wars. That came out on Friday. Oh, that's funny, that, because you mentioned Death Stranding. For weeks and weeks and weeks, we spoke about Death Stranding. We had a little bit on Star Wars, and we had a little bit on Pokemon, both of which came out on Friday last week. And not really... I mean, Pokemon we kind of slated at the end of last week because, it's decks it and all the rest, whatever. But good morning, gents, says Dad and Lad Gaming. Wow, he's here from the beginning. We haven't even started on the news. And do you know why are you guys all the way over there? come over here, come closer. And for those of you listening on podcast services, audio-wise, that makes absolutely no sense. But I've just brought you from the far cam to the near cam, so there we go. Nobody in the chat has dared to have a guess what the first piece of news is on, but let's jump onto it anyway. And this is Bibby. There we go. So there we go. We are talking about Phil Forden representing Ice Cream Uploads with his exclamation mark merch jersey in the chat. So there we go. There we go.
To duplicate it, I had it on extend. It's good old Phil Forden there.
A bit unhealthy, that obsession there, babe.
I know. It's my wallpaper on my phone as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, got rid of me and the missus on the wedding day. Phil Forden in an ICU jersey.
Dan Lad Gaming with a easy clap Choco Taco emote in the chat. Yeah. And dropping the exclamation mark socials command. Thank you very much for that. Feel free to check out all those links. It's quite easy. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all social media. But as you can see on screen, as I move us a little bit out of the way, we have gone up in the world. I mean, no longer do we consult the likes of Eurogamer and VG247. We now read forums here on Ice Cream Uploads.
It's going to be a difficult read, this, though.
I imagine so.
I mean purely for the fact that wherever we put the pip, because the news is in the centre, it's going to be right over the top of it. I'll do a gentle scroll. Put us top right. I'll do a gentle scroll.
Sweet. Okay, this is, even though the title is off the screen, this is written by Paul Tassi for Forbes, and it says, Google Stadia launch review, a technical, conceptual disaster. So, as you can tell, this is probably not going to be a favourable article for Google Stadia, but I think you'd kind of get that from the content that we've been giving you on the scoop over the last month or two. So, starting at the beginning, as Paul Tassi says, from the beginning, Google Stadia always seemed like a hard sell, a subscription model paired with individually purchased games. Even if you were saving on hardware with its streaming tech, it still feels like quite an investment for either gamers who would feel the need, who would need to find it as a better alternative to console or PC, or non-gamers who would have to be convinced to suddenly shell out for games like Assassin's Creed or Red Dead Redemption after avoiding the core industry to date. So basically, it's they either need to convince gamers to upgrade the hardware or convince people that don't play games to suddenly play games.
I mean, they priced it all right, though, haven't they? I mean, to actually get into Stadia, they priced it okay. They've not said, okay, for you to start streaming straight away, you're paying £400. Fair enough, you might end up paying £400 by the time you bought all the games. But to actually get into it, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, I remember the Founders Edition when Mark bought it, was like 119 quid or 99 quid or something like that, which is not that bad at all. That if you're paying for digital games on PSN, that's two games essentially. So yeah, carrying on with the article. All of this was laid on top of technical questions like the fact that streaming games from data centers like their Netflix titles has been unproven tech, and previous attempts have failed. And in places like the US with fixed ISP data caps, how would those hold up to 4 to 20 gigabyte per hour data usage, which we've covered previously on the scoop. If you want to check that out, feel free to check back on the episodes on youtube.com/icecreamuploads. But on top of all that, there was one central question. Would it even work? I've spent the last week discovering that, at least for me and my own Google Stadia setup, the answer to that question is a resounding no. I am genuinely amazed with how shockingly bad Stadia has performed at my home over the course of many sessions. That's actually
a big yikes.
I'm going to say we're literally just starting into the review of it, and this is a bit oh no. For context, I mostly played Stadia on the review until Chromecast Ultra. No, I'll start again. I mostly played Stadia on the review unit Chromecast Ultra on my TV.
Because it would have been there wasn't allowed to use. So if you had a Chromecast Ultra already in the house, you couldn't use that one. You had to use a specific one. So he would have been sent a review copy of the whole bundle thing.
Yeah, I was like the review unit, but yeah, it almost seems like that word should be have. I mostly played Stadia on the review unit Chromecast Ultra on my TV, with a few trials on my desktop PC browser connected through wireless. My internet is solid, probably better than most people's, with wireless speeds ranging between 200 to 350 megabytes per second, depending on how the wind blows. Google's own Stadia speed check tool seems to think I am well over the requirement to effectively stream 4K games. Your connection is great. There's an image provided there. Well, Well, let me tell you, something went terribly wrong here. Across all the test titles I played, including Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat 11, Destiny 2, Guilt, and Red Dead Redemption 2, I would get periodic stuttering issues with massive resolution and frame drops. Not all the time, but enough to be noticed frequently and disrupt gameplay, which is what everyone feared may happen with this kind of tech. The intensity of the game didn't matter. It could be the graphically rich Red Dead or the cartoony Guilt. Single player or multiplayer didn't matter. I could be playing solo as Lara Croft or playing Destiny 2's Gambit in a pre-arranged match. The issues were the same. You could have 80% of a session be going fine, but then the last 20% would suddenly lurch you into dropping, stuttering territory. And in most games, all it takes is one hiccup to make you pay dearly. I fell off ledges in Tomb Raider because of lag. I flat out lost Mortal Kombat fights I would have won otherwise. I died to Destiny enemies I would roast with ease on any platform. I managed to slog through the entirety of the Mortal Kombat 11 campaign, which I genuinely wanted to play, as I hadn't yet, and probably at least won a match I ran into lag issues. Even if it's just for a moment, it can cost you an entire fight in a game like that. On top of that, there are some more general problems as well. I like the fact that every single cutscene in Mortal Kombat had a full... like the fact that every single cutscene in Mortal Kombat had a full second of audio lag. So imagine people like for those of you on video services, it's kind of... Have you seen Police Academy?
No.
Want to fight? Fight me. It's like that. No.
Badly dubbed anime. Or something like that.
That's the one we want. So... I'll start that one again. So on top of that, there are some more general problems as well, like the fact that every single cutscene in Mortal Kombat had a full second of audio lag. This was listed as a known issue in the reviewer's guide, but there was still some dialogue lag in Destiny, Red Dead, and Tomb Raider cutscenes as well. Not as much as Mortal Kombat, but it was there. And there in the article, I think...
It is a meaty one, this. So obviously this will be in the show notes. So we just wanted to give you an idea from someone's perspective who has reviewed the game, what kind of obstacles that they're coming up against at the moment, and it seems to be everything possible that could be going wrong seems to be going wrong, which was inevitable, really.
Let's just fast forward and skip through and see if I can find something that kind of gives us a conclusion. I could envision some perfect world where Stadia wasn't coming out tomorrow, just below the image of Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. This one?
Yeah. But rather it launches in the fall. I could envision some perfect world where Stadia wasn't coming out tomorrow, but rather it launches in the fall of 2020 along with other new consoles. It works absolutely perfectly and it's getting every third-party release on day one and a few must-have exclusive to boot. Then I could see the advantage of not having hardware when the experience suddenly costs $400 less than its competition. But that is not the reality that we live in. Stadia is launching tomorrow with missing features, 24 old or tiny games, and I've just spent the last week doing battle with the tech that seemed determined to ruin every single one of my play sessions. I may have been a Stadia skeptic going into this test run, but I was willing to give it a chance. But this has been a catastrophe from start to finish during my testing phase, and the problem is that even if it did work flawlessly, which it absolutely doesn't, the entire model seemed doomed from the start. This is an enormous miss from Google, and I'm really wondering what the fallout is going to be from this ill-conceived early launch.
Oh, it's a GG to the article, because this guy has literally gone through with a fine-tooth comb and tested everything. I mean, I don't know how much he's dropped money-wise to be able to review all of these games. It's not as if he's just tested Destiny, which was free. He's literally gone and bought Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat, Destiny 3, obviously.
I know that some reviewers were provided with codes of Red Deads and so on like that, so I'm assuming, with him being obviously Forbes as well, Forbes has quite a lot of media sway, so I imagine Forbes has gone, yeah, okay, if you want us to play this, you need to give us a selection of codes. So there might even be a media pack that says, here's all 22 games or whatever it's going to launch with. Just quickly, Laz of the Greek, thank you very much for the host.
Morning.
Number One Pirate, thank you very much for the host. Mr. Buckley, how are you doing in the chat? Just to see, just don't see where Google Stadia fits in the market. See, I can see where it fits. I mean, we kind of had this discussion over the past few weeks. I mean, I think it was Spike in the chat who was saying that maybe it appeals to us a little bit more because obviously travelling to esports events or travelling to Gamescoms, E3s, whatever, we've got something that we can take with us then. And that being able to start your Red Dead playthrough at home, then just jump onto your Google Pixel phone or whatever on the plane and then load it up on the screen in the hotel as we land in Cologne or whatever. That sort of idea of it, I can see that being good for me, because I loved being able to do the same thing with Metal Gear on the Vita, but majority of time we're not really going to use that. So that is the USP, the fact that you can take your games with it. You don't need to download it. It's all there in the cloud. But the fact that none of the games are new games that you've never played before, so you don't really want to take them with you anyway. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, if you could have sat down this weekend and played Red Dead Redemption 2 Guilt or Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which one would you have played?
Fallen Order.
Exactly, and that's the one that's not on that console.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
There's always two sides of the coin with this stuff, and the way I see it at the moment is, yeah, fair enough, you can take it into your hotel with you and you can play it on their TVs, but it's very rare that, one, you can even get plug a HDMI into the TV that's already in there, and two, I have never been to a hotel where they've got super fast Wi-Fi for free anyway. So again, you'd have to pay for it, but which is always brings me back to, I'd rather play my Switch. But with Microsoft bringing out the xCloud stuff, that looks like it's going to piss all over this. It looks like it's going to do absolute bits, and I hope it does, because you can only get better with the competition that you've got. And you've had the PlayStation, and you have the Sony and the Microsoft wars for years. Sony have obviously won this one, but if they're going to try to do something else, then hopefully their competition might be Stadia. So you've got the xCloud and Stadia going head to head. It looks already like xCloud is probably going to win without even releasing their products. Obviously it's in beta, people are writing up about it, and it seems decent enough, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see where this goes, because it has to get better for Stadia at this point. There's no way that they can make it look any worse.
I believe. I mean, Stadia they've kind of poached big names from across the market, be it the journalism side, be it, I believe people have gone from Sony and Microsoft as well. They've done some good acquisitions, and not only that, people at Google aren't stupid, but this whole launch process has been stupid. The fact that they announced it in April, whenever it was, and they said, we're going to have 4K 60 FPS streaming over the internet, and it's going to be all these wonderful things that actually we're not going to have that at launch, we're not going to have that at launch. Actually, you're not even going to get the console at launch, depending on when you pre-ordered it. I mean, the fact that they've kind of done all that, they've come out with such a big Google-esque way of approaching things. I think that's been their downfall. People wouldn't have expected Google to do anything other than, yeah, we're here, we can do this, we know all the tech and the things, and everyone's going like, yeah, you fucking can. But then they come out and they can't do the tech and the things because it's unproven tech. Everyone's
Absolutely.
excited about the tech. So Google Stadia, the comments in the chat, so it was Mr. Buckley says, I don't see where Google Stadia fits in the market. Grumpy Neil, good morning. Good morning. What a peeps late to the show as always. I see the Google Stadia as being too niche to really challenge the big names. That's kind of the thing. I mean, I believe they are bringing new technology, not necessarily a new way of playing. Or I mean, it's obviously we've seen there's only Guild that's different. Yeah. Everything is exactly the same as what people already have.
Football Manager is coming out today on it. That's a launch title, but we all know what Football Manager is. It's the same thing more or less every year with like something new sprinkled on top of it. But you know what the IP is? It's nothing special. Well, it is to some people.
But they
Sorry, Craig.
Yeah, chill out, mate. God,
I don't want Craig. I mean, he's already given me shit already. I counted 2 yawns there because we had a corn counter. It wasn't a yawn.
A corn counter?
Yeah, a corn counter. It wasn't a yawn, actually. It was a disguised burp. So we had disguised yawns yesterday and disguised burp today.
Yeah, if anyone didn't enjoy the stream yesterday, I was streaming from home. Bibby was streaming from within the studios. Not in the studio, but within the studios. So he basically was like front face cam, kind of like that. But because he was front face cam, he didn't want to yawn, so he was doing that thing where you kind of
go. Bit of context, the room upstairs, because it's got a black blind, it's so nice and warm, and I was already tired, so I was kind of like, I was just feeling the moment and and trying not to fall asleep.
But anyway, I can't remember. I was going to give you like a proper epiphany moment about Google. Bibby was in the toilet. He was in the toilet. Wait, Bibby hasn't seen Police Academy? Wow, I feel like Graham should slap him. Okay, let me just... podcast services think you got wallop there. Unlucky.
There you go, that's about as good as a lag is on Stadia.
Hey.
Stadia joke.
Banter. Yeah, so I feel like Google, they've come in, say, like trying to push that they are Google. They know they own the internet. They are the internet.
Yeah.
They can do all of the technological things, and they've got their what was it? Something negative latency technology, which will predict what you need to press. So that, I mean, everyone's like, "Ooh, this sounds really cool," and we all knew it sounded too good to be true. It always is with stuff like that. But the fact that they came in, to use a very British phrase, willy waving. They kind of set themselves up for a fall. If they'd have come in and said, look, this area needs to grow, there needs to be some development in this area. The only thing that's kind of happening, I mean, is xCloud, and that's like in test in 3 countries, and for only with people that have Android devices. So it's not necessarily a massive test. So if they'd have said, look, okay, this isn't great, we're going to bring you a bigger, wider test, and then gone at it that sort of way, then I think they'd have been fine. But yeah, the issue is that they didn't. They came in promising the world, and then they literally, you can't even, never mind the world, you can't even invite your friends to play with the free stuff that you get at launch. You have to wait 2 weeks before you can bring other people.
I'm just having a look at the download stuff on here. We was talking about when you was going through the article. So this guy's ran a test, and it says your connection is great. Latency 22 milliseconds, download 317, and upload 135. So apparently this guy, that's this guy's on wireless.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even imagine getting that on wired. Like I get 80.
I don't.
On a very good day.
Same.
Very good day.
22 millisecond ping on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
You git.
But that's the thing. Like, if this guy's having problems, I would not be able to play this console at all. I'd be surprised if I could navigate through the menus before even getting into a game. Like, on a very good day, mine caps at 80. Usually, if I'm streaming or whatever, I'm probably on about 60. So yeah, it just wouldn't work for me at all. This.
See, the thing that I kind of want it to work, because did you see the article that I sent through to you last night? I mean, it was talking about xCloud, and I don't know if I'll see if I can find the article whilst we're on. Basically, it was a gamesindustry.biz article. I get their newsletter, and I saw an article come through yesterday, and they were the Microsoft xCloud team were talking about what they'd learned from what they'd learned from their rollout, their test of xCloud at the moment, and people are using xCloud to create couch co-op, and that's the kind of thing that I would have never thought of. I mean, it's bluntly obvious when I say it now, but the game that they reference in there is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is a solo play game. You can play online with friends, but you can't play couch co-op. But what xCloud allowed you to do is Bibby sits there on his couch with his 55-inch TV. I rock up with my tablet, and we can both play Sea of Thieves. Couch co-op, separate screens, obviously. Yeah. And it's almost that sort of like LAN feeling of bringing everyone in kind of thing, which is cool. I really like that element, and I'd never thought about Google Stadia allowing that to happen, as in I can just rock up next to Bib. We can do duos in PUBG, which you can't do split screen. But yeah, there we go. Just I'll sit there and play, get trashed on PUBG mobile version or whatever, and you sit there full on PC or console or whatever on the same couch. And so that sort of stuff is why we need the cloud streaming technology. But the thing is, xCloud are rolling it out slowly, quietly on the side. You've got to think PlayStation are doing it, because it was back in the PS3 sort of days where they bought Gaikai, which was a cloud streaming service that was kind of the same sort of... It was always uttered in the same sort of vein as OnLive. But Sony have owned Gaikai for years, which is streaming technology. Admittedly, technology has moved on a shitload since then. So they're either moving along with it, or they just haven't. But they've got a foundation.
Yeah.
But the issue that Google then has, and talking of... I mean, it's trying to not necessarily... it's trying to give you different ways to play, which is cool, but what does it then have behind that? So if the tech starts failing, what first party games are you going to play? Yeah. Xbox, if xCloud starts failing, we've got Gears 5, Gears 6, yo! PlayStation, if let's say they just go with Gaikai, if that starts failing, yeah, but did you see The Last of Us Part 7, mate? I mean, it's fucking mint. But Xbox, yeah, fine. PlayStation, fine. Google, do you want Guilt number 27? Nah, I think...
I don't necessarily think that they needed a brand new exclusive IP for them. It just needed something that was going to be coming out. Like, Was Borderlands 3 on the list? Did that get released yesterday?
I don't think so.
But just something new that's come out recently that people don't have to, because they are going to be getting Cyberpunk at some point. Obviously, when it gets released, I don't know if it's coming out on the day of release. I imagine it's going to come over. It probably is, but I can't remember if Borderlands 3 was on the list.
No.
So that's a game that's recently just come out that was massive, had a high player base across all platforms. That'd have been great for them to be able to come out with that, but again, they've got games. I think we went through this list saying last year, this year, early this year, February this year.
They do have Farming Simulator 2019.
The newest game that came out, which is today, is Football Manager. But again, if you're not a Football Manager fan, which is, I don't want to say it's a niche market, but it's a very specific set of people that you're aiming that game at. The rest of them are all a bit naff.
The thing is, like, they are good games, but them being a bit naff is relevance. That's what it is. So, like, NBA 2K20, I'd like to play NBA 2K20, but I'm not going to buy a new format and a new system to play on, because I've not even played it on my PlayStation. I won't play it much. I know I'll enjoy it once I've figured out how to play it, but I'm not going to play it that much, so I'm not going to buy it. So I'm not going to buy a new system to play that. So that's not a console seller. Metro Exodus, I mean, full disclosure, we work on Metro games, so I'm obviously going to be positive about them. But they do actually look shit hot, Metro games.
Oh, shit. Scroll down a little bit.
So they do actually look...
No, the other way.
That way?
Yeah, that way.
So the Metro games do look shit hot. I mean, if you played a Metro game, like, on top spec on a PC, look crisp. Mm-hmm. But I've got a PC that's top spec. I'm not playing Metro on that, so I'm not going to go out and buy for that. Grid, once again, I'd play it. Not a console seller for me. Farming Simulator, okay. Attack on Titan 2, Attack on Titan Final Battle 2. I can't even say it. Never mind play it. Trials Rising, Wolfenstein Youngblood, all games. Rage 2, yeah, I'd be open to them, but I'm not going to buy a console for them.
Wolfenstein is the only one out of that list that I'd be excited to play.
But you say that you would be excited to play. Do you have it for the PS4? Mm-mm. Do you have it for the PC? Mm-mm. Do you have it for an Xbox? Mm-mm. So you wouldn't buy...
I'd be playing it on my PC before I played it on anything, purely because I like PC gaming. I like using my mouse and keyboard for a first-person shooter. But yeah, if I was to get... If they said, here's a Stadia, here's Wolfenstein, yeah, I would 110% play it, but... If my internet had let me, kind of thing. But out of that list, if I was getting it for the first time and I didn't have any other console, that would be the only one that I was probably excited to play.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Is I mean, none of them are brand new. So when, like you said, they're all a bit naff. The games themselves, they're okay. Some of them are good, particularly like the likes of Red Dead, the Metros, the Wolfensteins. They're all good games, but they're already games that are all out on a format of your choice. So the only reason you'd play them on that is only because they haven't been priority enough for you to play them on a different format. So they're not console sellers. I mean, and the only one that's exclusive is Guilt. And I literally only saw what that looked like when I opened this article up earlier on. It's like a strange cartoony sort of thing. I had no idea. In Guilt, for some reason in my mind, I had like Thief, like that sort of
I had
art
like a medieval vibe.
But yeah, it's not. So will the final PS5 console look like the one that has a V on it? Is it confirmed? No, that isn't confirmed. That's the
dev build.
Dev kit, the SD kit, whatever. So yeah, basically that's the dev kit. They always vary from what the launch console looks like. So usually they used to be just like big dirty tower blocks, and then you got some that almost look like boxes with metal stuff.
They just look like a desktop PC, don't they?
Well, until like I think it was like the PS3 one was it looked console-ish, which people were like, ooh.
We've actually got a test kit here.
Oh no, that's a test kit, but the early dev kits, the SDKs are slightly different. So we have a test PS4, yes, test PS3 and test PS4, but the test PS3s looked exactly the same as the PS3, apart from it said PlayStation 3 test.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of like how PES is different from demo to full release. Kappa, lol. Damn.
Savage.
We have the Bibby Yawn clip in the chat as well.
Oh, from yesterday. Oh, big yikes.
Cheers, Pirate. I'm not going to open it, but the clip is there if you guys want to click on it. He was making the Thierry Henry laugh face there.
You're set of bastards.
So yeah, Google Stadia is out. and there is a shit load of issues with it. I mean, we've not even touched on the stuff that we touched on the other day. So, like, the fact that you might not have your console yet. People are still waiting for updates in terms of, oh, you've been charged for your console, it's now on the way.
Yeah.
Despite pre-ordering it months ago.
Lee hasn't got his yet, and he pre-ordered it on the day that it was available for pre-order.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. The fact that there is no trophy system, the fact that there is no account sharing. So you're my son, and we share the same PS4.
Yes,
Your
we do,
account's on it, and my account's on it.
Yes, it is, Dad.
And I play PUBG. I've bought it, not PUBG because that's age locked. I've got Fortnite or whatever, and that's free. Okay, some other game, Grid.
We have games.
Well, let's use Grid. That's on the PlayStation. So I've got Grid. I've paid for it. I've installed it on the PS4. You log in on your own account because you want to do your own trophies, which also aren't on Google Stadia. So you want to unlock your trophies on your account. Oh, Dad's bought it. I'll play it. Google Stadia. You log in. Mate, you've got to buy it again.
It's a big nope.
And then, do you know what? You're my friend, so I want to invite you to play on Google Stadia Online with my free pass that I was guaranteed to give to my friend to give 3 months of play. Do you want to play today on launch day? So, by some fucking miraculous thing, we've both managed to get Google Stadia stuff on the launch day. Do you want a free pass? Google goes, nah, mate, you can't have it for another couple of weeks.
It's not for you, that, mate. Fucking shite.
So, yeah.
Need to do better.
Sort it out. Just because you're a big money company doesn't mean that the games industry will just buckle underneath your will. So it's not good enough, and we ain't gonna take that shit. But from one thing that wasn't good to something that, I mean, maybe good, it depends on your opinion. Let's jump into the next newsy article.
Music article?
Seeing as I can't speakicle, let's biblical have this-ical one-icle.
Okay, cool. So this is on Eurogamer, written by Tom Phillips. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Oh, Jesus Christ. Pokemon Sword is the biggest single format release this year. Nintendo Switch exclusives Pokemon Sword and Shield are a monster success in the UK. On its own, the game's Sword version topped the most boxed game chart this week, beating EA's new release Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order into second place.
Just want to say, monster sales success. That's got to be a pun. If it is, GG Tom Phillips. Fucking monsters.
He knows what he's talking about, Tom. Pokemon Sword is the biggest platform exclusive of 2019, even without the Shield and Dual Pack version. That means it's beat its fellow Nintendo exclusives such as Luigi's Mansion 3, as well as PlayStation exclusives like Days Gone and Death Stranding, and Xbox exclusives such as Gears 5 and Crackdown 3. They shouldn't really be included in Gears 5 and Crackdown 3 because they put them in the Games Pass stuff so people could play them for £1 rather than actually going to buy them. So
yeah,
it's a bit shit that they've included that. But anyway, in fact, only 2 games sold more copies than Pokemon Sword this year. Multi-platform juggernauts are COD and FIFA, as expected. He didn't say that either. Together, Sword and Shield are the second biggest Pokemon launch in the UK, with sales up 50% on last year's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and up around 45% on Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS. The only Pokemon games Sword and Shield did not beat are Sun and Moon, which were released on 3DS later in that console's life cycle and closer to the global craziness surrounding Pokemon Go. And as ever, the digital sales are not counted, which has also been attributed to Sword and Shield's total. Star Wars Jedi Fallen, meanwhile, launched with strong sales, even though they were down slightly on Star Wars Battlefront 2. 66% of copies were sold on PS4, the rest on Xbox One. PC digital sales are not counted. The only other news that was Terminator Resistance, which entered the chart at 38th. I was actually looking forward to playing that as well because it looks decent. Counting each Pokemon version separately, Nintendo Switch exclusives now hold a majority of the chart in the top 10. Fantastic stuff.
So, I mean, I just want to say GG Bibarino. I mean, we had a discussion on Sword or Shield. We both said Sword. Mr. The Adventurist, Alistair from the Ice Cream Tea said Shield. So, unlucky! Enjoy that third place then. Let's run through the top 10 games of the week then. So, Pokemon Sword, first place. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in second. Pokemon Shield, third. COD Modern Warfare, fourth. FIFA, fifth. Luigi's Mansion 3, 6th. Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Dual Edition, 7th. Death Stranding, 8th. Mario Kart 8 in 9th. And Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 tops out the 10 top games. So, I mean, there's some things that I can kind of expect in there. So you look at PlayStation exclusives. So the first party games, you instantly go. I mean, I always say the same 3: Spider-Man, Days Gone, and The Last of Us. Those sort of games, not Days Gone, Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us. Those sort of games, they are big games.
Yeah.
Nobody would say Days Gone is in the same hemisphere as those.
If it is, it's a small minority of people that absolutely thoroughly enjoyed that game. But the main consensus, it got a bit tedious.
Yeah. And but not only that, it didn't review particularly great at launch, so that obviously will have impacted on sales. Death Stranding, you could kind of say because of the budget and because of the marketing around it, and if it's that kind of story, people did really like Death Stranding, and I've seen a lot more people kind of going, actually, do you know what, I thought I wasn't going to like it, and I do. But even still, because of the sort of like, I'm not sure about this, you kind of expect that to not have sold in the same sort of level as The Last of Us or anything like that. So that's Days Gone and Death Stranding, the two big PlayStation exclusive. You can kind of expect a Pokemon game to outsell those. Then you've got Gears 5 and Crackdown 3. Obviously, Bib says they were available in Game Pass, so they're not going to sell massive numbers because of that. I mean, that will be kind of like attrition on their sales. People are just going to use the Game Pass to do that. So Xbox will get their value over time if people resubscribe to the Game Pass and so on. So they kind of use that as a marketing tool for the Xbox and for that ecosystem, probably gearing up towards more like Project Scarlet. So you can kind of see, okay, Pokemon Sword can outsell those. And then they compare it to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They were kind of not really Pokemon games. They were Pokemon games that
there was kind like a reboot, wasn't there?
But also tied to Pokemon Go. Yeah. It's like, so you like the original games of Pokemon Go? Here's a game for you. So you
like a companion app.
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
Of thing.
So you can see it outselling that. The only one it hasn't was Pokemon X and Y on 3DS when it was like massive install base on. I mean, the DS like is that Nintendo's best-selling console?
The DS, yes. I don't. These were released for the 3DS, so you can play it on the DS. But the 3DS was closely behind the DS. I'm sure it was. It's one of them.
I think the 3DS counts as it's like the same generation, same
like
an
Tetris
Xbox
stuff.
Yeah, but more like Xbox One and Xbox One S and Xbox One X.
One cycle.
So yeah, massive install base on there. So you can kind of see. Sun and Moon, obviously around Pokemon Go, 3DS, you can kind of see it not being able to top that. And the key one for me, I think all those stats kind of make sense, but it's up 45% on X and Y on 3DS. So all the others are kind of good achievements, but they're also, when you dig down into it, so it should do.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that it, at least one of them anyway, beat Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's the big thing. And is that because of the success of Pokemon, or is that because EA left it so late to start promoting Jedi Fallen Order? Or a bit of both?
I think with Pokemon, I don't want to say there isn't many people who don't like Pokemon. I think there's a lot more people who like Pokemon than there is Star Wars. And plus, you've got all the kids that enjoy, that have a Nintendo Switch who wanted to play this, because I can't remember who it was. It was just something on my timeline. People were just memeing the hell out of all the reviews and stuff like that, saying that, oh, it doesn't play in 60 frames a second, it looks crap, all the graphics and stuff like that. But there's people on the timeline saying, my 4-year-old's just come downstairs and said, Dad, it's not rendering in 1080 and the field of view doesn't show 60 feet in front of me and stuff like that, which is obviously just a complete meme. Like, the kids don't
didn't
care.
happen of the year awards.
Yeah, it didn't have. There wasn't 4,000 Pokemon that they can go and collect in the game, and she's bitterly disappointed. It's like, the kids don't care, they just want to play the game. If there's a Pokemon game coming out, there's a Pokemon game coming out and they want to get it. I think the install base for Pokemon is way bigger than it will be for a Star Wars game, especially after Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're probably right with the comment of there's more Pokemon fans than Star Wars fans. Whether that's a global thing, not sure, but definitely in terms of gamers, there will be more Pokemon gamers than Star Wars gamers. I think that's kind of an undisputed fact, because I mean, the install base over a long period of time since handheld consoles, there are more Pokemon games. There is a much more dedicated audience, and not only that, we haven't had the loot box fiasco from Battlefront 2. Yeah,
well, I do think a Pokemon game is a system seller in the handheld market. For every single handheld that's come out from Nintendo, there's always been a decent Pokemon game that's come out for it. And I'm going back to like the original Game Boy, where you had the original Red and Blue. And then obviously you had the Game Boy Color and Yellow, and then blah blah blah. Leaf Green came out for the Game Boy Advance, and you just go on from there. There's always been a good Pokemon game so people our age who've played Pokemon since way back when, I'm more than likely going to pick this game up, not anytime soon, but I will eventually go and pick this game up because I want to play a Pokemon game. And I'm 28 now. So I've been playing for nearly 20 years in Pokemon.
He is younger than you all guys thought.
Yeah. I've just weathered horrendously.
It's all right. I'm 34 in exactly 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks until my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. 2 weeks until Graham's birthday.
That means it's 3 weeks until my birthday.
Yeah, and then you...
There's a question for you there of precision.
Speaking of Pokemon, has Pokemon Go lost its appeal, or is it still going strong? Both. I can show you that it will be... I mean, if I scroll back through my... So I've got my email, my text message, only because I got an alert, Spotify because I listened to it in the car, my camera, and then Pokemon Go is just there on my screen. So it was like... I've opened it on my phone this morning. So I am still playing it, but it is one of those, like you got any Pokemon Go? It's an addiction that it's kind of habit now, not addiction. I'm used to playing Pokemon Go. I do enjoy playing Pokemon Go when I'm out. In terms of it gives me that sort. It gamifies a walk. Mm-hmm. It gives me a purpose. I'm not a person that goes, let's go for a walk. It's like, no, let's just go for a sit. Give me a controller. That's me. So Pokemon Go gives me an aim, something to do, which then makes walking more appealing. But.
It was Community Day for it 2 weeks ago, was it? 2 weeks ago last Sunday? 2 weeks ago on Sunday. I can't remember. There was a Pokemon Community Day because there was...
Yeah,
it was Giovanni in London.
Oh, there was Team Go Rocket have just appeared in the game. I think that's still there, but then there was the Chimchar Community Day on Saturday. So there's still a lot of stuff going for it, and I still kind of play it, but yeah, now there's kind of throwing things in to try and give it a bit more shelf life. So the bit with Giovanni, so the Team Rocket are in it and they've taken over gyms and you can battle them to get stronger Pokemon and different things. But it's just got to the point where it's kind of monotonous repetition now. So catching the 150 Pokemon is based on monotonous repetition. Mm-hmm. Did you catch Pokemon? Yes. Do it another 149 times.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. But then as you're doing that, and it's okay, you need to catch that you can't catch every 150 times because the chance of catching Charizard is stupidly low. So what you need to do is catch like 30 Charmanders and then evolve. And so you think, okay, so rather than catching 150, I'm now catching like 1,000 Pokemon, and then they add more in. But it's just getting to the point where it's just, I'm not asked about my decks anymore. I've done the 151. I don't give a fick. I mean, your Tepig's all right, but after that, does anyone really care? So, yeah. What's your thoughts on KSI versus Aimbot Christian? I have no idea who Aimbot Christian is.
I don't even know what that is. Is he called him out for a boxing match, or...?
Give us an update. Is it Worlds? Apologies if I've said your name wrong there, but I'm going to have a Google. I didn't even... So, Aimbot Christian is a Twitch streamer, apparently. I have no idea who Aimbot Christian is. So yeah, is that a thing?
I haven't seen anything like this on Twitter or anything this morning.
Yeah, that's all new. That's all new. Let me know. Yes, I have no idea. So I don't have a YouTuber versus Twitch streamer. I don't have any thoughts on that because I genuinely didn't know that was a thing. I genuinely didn't know Aimbot Christian was a thing. I've heard of Aimbots and I've heard of Christians, but I didn't realise the two together were a thing.
YouTube versus Twitch streamer.
Yeah. So, yes, no, whatever. If it's a thing, it'll be good. No doubt, because it always is. Every time JJ gets into a fight like that, it turns into something that's bigger than ever been before. I was there for the press conference for the KSI versus Joe Weller fight, which was it was small in terms of compared to what we've seen this last week. So set some scenes. So the Sidemen created an event called Upload Event, and they held that in London. And within Upload Event itself, so there was a few thousand people in there that had the first press conference for KSI versus Joe Weller. That kind of made the beef real. It took it beyond the drama and stuff that we've seen. I was there for that, and it was quite intense. It was like, fuck, this is cool. It's almost like, this is like your mates having a bit of a fight that just kind of got a bit real. And then it obviously went to to Logan Paul in the first fight. I was in the MEN for that fight as well. And yeah, that was like, okay, this is getting quite big now. But then obviously getting Matchroom Boxing and DAZN on and getting on TV, massive. So yeah, I mean, no idea who Aimbot Christian is. If they are fighting, then no doubt it will be for all the right reasons.
I don't think Aimbot Christian, I don't think he's going to be fighting KSI. I've just had a look at Aimbot Christian's Twitch account. His Twitter, and he's got 505 followers. So I don't think he's going to be playing Aimbot Christian.
Oh, in that case, then no, it's not going to happen. If Aimbot Christian doesn't have the size of
Logan Paul,
then yeah. I mean, we work in the games industry. I actually know KSI. I've worked with him quite a few times, and I know that when they were looking at doing the charity football matches, they've done 3 of those in the past, they were looking at how to make that bigger and better, and they did Cyberman FC versus YouTube All-Stars. The only way they were looking at doing that again, if they were going to come back to that a while back, was to look at doing something international, so like a UK versus USA. Obviously, they've done that with the boxing. So the thing there, though, is they're not really going to take it any further.
Yeah, this is someone on a wind-up. I don't know who this Worlds is, but it's Aimbot Christian just coming. Little bird tells me that I've been mentioned around the internet for an upcoming fight.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, can we get an exclusive comment about your upcoming fight? I mean, what do you feel? Are you in a good state of mind? Are you ready for this? But yeah, I mean, good luck, Aimbot Christian, because I've seen JJ in the flesh. He's pretty built, so you know he would. I mean, he'd wipe the floor with me, definitely. So
I think I could deck him. That's what he put.
What you think you could do his decking? What, like his wooden
bit of Ron seal?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let's move on to the next article. Do you want to read this one out? This bad boy?
No, I don't actually. No.
Okay.
Okay, go on. So jumping back into the news. So this is rumours of a fight between KSI and Aimbot Christian.
An absolute exclusive here on the Scoop.
I'm actually going to DM JJ in a minute and say, what the fuck? New fight? Oh my god. So Tom Phillips from Eurogamer says, rumours swirl of a Half-Life VR announcement from Valve, and then update, it's official. So since this article was written, you can see there is now an update at the top of the article. After 12...
Even more breaking news.
Yeah, breaking. So after 12 long years of waiting and enough 3 base memes to fill an entire internet, that's lost on me. It's finally official. There's a new Half-Life game on the way. As previously rumoured, it's called Half-Life Alyx, and Valve describes it as the company's flagship VR game. Half-Life Alyx will be given full reveal treatments this Thursday, 21st of November at 6 p.m. in the UK, or 10 a.m. Pacific time. Valve hasn't said where yet, but it seems reasonable to assume it'll pop up on Twitter and will be plastered all over the front page of Steam. So this is the original story, which was released yesterday. A formal announcement of Valve's long-in-development Half-Life VR project looks finally on the horizon. Traces of the company's experiments with Half-Life and VR have popped up several times over the years. Indeed, Valve has spoken publicly on the subject. In 2015, Valve programmer Jeep Barnett told Kotaku, that's like car hair.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that has to be an alias.
Jeep Barnett. his hair looks like a 4x4. Anyway, jumping back.
Range Rover fringe. Oh, God. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Composure.
Sorry, pal.
In 2015, Valve programmer Mini Cooper Mullet told Kotaku it was dabbling with its best-known franchise in VR just to see how it fits, with no promise of a game at the end of it. And more recently, Half-Life VR code fragments have popped up in other Valve games. It's been clear the project still exists in some form. Do you know what? I'm not even going to continue with this document. We've had a bit of cheapness. We know from the update. The update kind of says it all. There is a Half-Life VR game on the way.
I don't think this is what the community want to see from a Half-Life game. This game, well, the the name Half-Life has been around for so long now that people just wanted Half-Life 3 to come out. I don't understand why they think giving someone a VR experience is the right way to go about it, but fair play, this is definitely going to get played, but it's going to be a small minority of people that want to play it because they don't have VR. Like, I would like to play the new Half-Life, but I don't have a VR, I don't have HTC Vive or the Oculus or whatever it is that's compatible with the PC nowadays.
Well, I mean, is it Steam? Valve is Valve on Steam?
Yeah,
I always get it wrong. So Steam, you've got to imagine it's going towards Oculus there. Even though obviously Facebook bought it off them, you kind of think there's still got to be those business ties there. It has to be an Oculus project. I'd be well surprised. I mean, at least. I mean, maybe it's going further because Valve have gone, well, we've got rid of it now. We can sell it everywhere. But you'd think at least it's got to be. Is there someone there? Oh, it's, looking through the door. We have movement in the back of the ice cream studios. Anyway, I mean, I'd like to play VR games in general, but once again, I also don't have a VR setup, so it's exciting for people that are excited.
Absolutely.
So, are you a Half-Life fan? Do you have VR? One or the other or both? Let us know. And if you are you excited for it?
Yeah, I just think I included it because I thought. But as soon as you hear Half-Life and someone's talking about Half-Life and the developers are talking about it, you just think, we're in a Half-Life 3, it's coming, baby! And they say, no, actually, it's a VR experience.
Oh, is that what the 3 is? The 3-based memes? After 12 long years of waiting and enough 3-based memes, I was like, that's lost on me. I don't know what they mean. I've never played a Half-Life game, so I didn't know what it was. So there's been 2 Half-Life games then, I'm guessing.
Yes.
There we go. You see, I'm up to speed now.
But it's such an established IP with a certain... Did you ever play the Orange Box? It came out on the 360 and there was it Team Fortress as well? There was like 3 games on this and Half-Life 2 was on there. And it was amazing. Like, it was such a good game, and that's my first brushing with Half-Life. But that was way back. So people have obviously been waiting for the third one for so long that I don't think this is the right move for them. They should have probably brought out the third one and then tagged on the VR aspect on top of it. But what do I know? I'm not a game developer.
I mean, you lost me then when you said Orange Box, because working on Metal Gear social media, there is 2 orange boxes. So in Metal Gear Solid, there is the box, the cardboard box that your guy gets in. In Metal Gear Solid 2, it says oranges on the side of it. So whenever you talk about, whenever you showed the box from Metal Gear Solid 2 on social media, Half-Life fans have gone, there's only one orange box, and you're just like, it's been done, mate.
Yeah. So that was the orange box. So it was Half-Life 2, and then Team Fortress 2, and introducing Portal for the first time.
There we go.
So that came out on the 360. It was quality.
Jumping back through the comments, you guys played along. You've earned my follow, says Mbot Christian. Oh, thank you very much for the follow.
Cheers, pal.
Yeah, we like a little bit of banter. And also, thank you very much, Snow Wolf. We missed that 11 minutes ago. Thank you for the follow. Appreciated. Apologies for that. We've caught up now, though. We did miss it for too long. Guys knocking about with a Land Rover Fade. Jeep Barnett.
What name? That can't be his real name. Who's carrying a child for 9 months and this comes out that looks like a Jeep?
It's like that kid that got born in like a Ferrari garage or something. So they called it like, I don't know, like an Enzo or something. And Ferrari was like, here's a car. And it wasn't even that. It was like something like a Chevrolet garage or something. So they gave him a car. So then you just think there's women all around America just like squeezing one out like in a Ferrari garage. The meme was Valve in general with no Half-Life 3 or Portal 3. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Bibby. I now have a new text alert. Oh, we've got the Bibby's Lost It clip there in the chat. If you want to see the clip back, thank you very much for the clip, Pirate. Much appreciated. For real, though, I'll fight Value Facts. I don't know how I'm saying that. Is Value Fact a person, or is that like a cheap fact? I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, I don't have much to add to the Half-Life VR thing, so I'm gonna brush that aside and jump into something that does excite me a little bit more. Which, as you can see on screen now, if you're watching on Twitch or later on YouTube, the PS5 controller has been shown in patent images. This is a VGC, that's VideoGamesChronicle.com news article written by Andy Robinson. So DualShock 5 seems to have a subtly changed design over PS4. And when I first opened this article, I looked at that picture that's just at the top of the screen. I was like, it looks exactly the same. And that's because that's the PS4 one there. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. A Sony Interactive Entertainment patent has revealed images of what could be the PlayStation 5's controller. The images, which were published on the Japanese Patent Office website today, are attributed to the PlayStation manufacturer and match a description of the PS5's prototype pad in a Wired article, in which Sony's next-gen controller is described as an awful lot like the PS4's DualShock 4. So maybe it is, I don't know. The patent specifically highlights a microphone, but comparison images posted online show that there are many subtle design changes between the pictured controller and the DualShock 4. The controller pictured in the patent features larger triggers, slightly smaller sticks, and a USB port and no light bar. The prototype PS5 controller currently being sent to developer is described as an unlabeled matte black doohickey. Nice! Mad skills on the explanations there, guys. That looks very similar to PS4's DualShock 4, but Sony has confirmed some significant additions. One major improvement added to PS5's controller is adaptive triggers, which SIE says can offer varying levels of resistance to make game mechanics, such as shooting a bow and arrow, the tension increasing as you pull the arrow back, feel more realistic. The PS5 controller, which will switch to USB-C for charging, also includes haptic feedback with highly programmable voice coil actuators. What? The words! The PS5 controller, which will switch to USB-C for charging, also includes haptic feedback with highly programmable voice coil actuators located in the left and right grips of the pad. Yeah, me too as well.
I have no idea.
Combined with an improved speaker on the controller, the haptics can enable astonishing effects. And now we get some visuals of the left side of the screen is the new controller, and the right side is the original DS4 controller that we've got on PS4s at the moment.
Do you know what? It looks more like a scuff controller shape. Now it's weird, but I don't know if it's because they've got rid of it on the pattern. As you can see it there, they've got rid of that line, so it's just one continuous controller. But that looks like a more scuff shaped controller.
Yeah,
but a bit more rounded.
Like a Scuff Vantage kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's a bit more chunkier, like a bit of a chunkier pad. Like the Hori brought out some out as well that look kind of similar to that. But it's interesting that they kept the touchpad, because the touchpad doesn't really get utilised for...
That was the one I meant.
It doesn't get used that often anymore.
No, I thought they'd get rid of the touchpad, to be fair, because the original idea of the touchpad was you can use it as like a mouse, and that gives you then lots of other cool functions that you can have with it, and then all it kind of became is click. Yeah, you've got another button.
That's all it is. You can press it. Most games now, you press the right hand side of the touchpad and the map comes up or something like that. So yeah, I understand why they kept it for that kind of reason, because it's better to have one giant button in the middle that may potentially be used for something else, rather than just a load of buttons that probably won't get used for anything, because it looks like a cheap knockoff then.
I'd just rather have a smaller button and then just have a better design on the pad. I think the touchpad on a DS4 is probably the ugliest addition that they've had from last gen's controllers. Anyway, we'll continue with the article. I didn't realise that VGC had done a mock-up there as well of the controller. So that is a mock-up of what they believe the PS5 will look like. Yeah. DS5 will look like.
The scoreboard checker precision says it's called the touchpad button.
In a series of short demos, the publication described in October, a character ran through a platform level featuring a number of different surfaces. This is just, we'll skip past this because we've kind of touched on all that. So skip right down to the end. In the same article, Sony confirmed that PlayStation 5's ray tracing technology will be hardware accelerated, and the console will feature a completely revamped UI and allow configurable game installs. So far, SA has confirmed several PS5 hardware details, with system architect Mark Cheney revealing that the console will be disc-based and support 8K graphics. PS5 will also be backwards compatible with PS4 games and support the current PlayStation VR headset, although another recently published patent may hint at SIE's plans for a next-gen PSVR headset. The console is scheduled to launch holiday 2020. I think the main takeaway from the controllers is, obviously, we've got the haptic effects that we've spoke about, so that the triggers will have haptic feedback, so you can like press them in, it'll get harder as if you're pulling the boat. That's all kind of cool. Whether that'll be new touchpad stuff, are people going to use that to an extent? I mean, you might.
I reckon you could probably turn it off. I reckon it's just like a nice feature to have. I don't reckon you're going to be able to. You probably can use it in all the games that they program it for, but I reckon you can just get rid of it. Because imagine you playing that in like a first-person kind of shooter. You got your bazooka out and you're ready to shoot a tank, but because it's a bazooka and you know that it takes more firepower, you've got to literally hammer the button in to be able to pull the trigger on it.
I always find that kind of odd though, because in a gun you do get a little bit of resistance, but it's kind of like it's a constant resistance, whereas they're talking about a bow gets harder as you pull it, which fine, I understand that, but I'd see it more like a football game in terms of bit of power, a lot of power, bang! But nobody's playing football games and shooting with the triggers. You shoot with your circle or your square and your thumb button kind of thing. So I do find that a bit odd. I mean, maybe I'm just not thinking about it. As a developer, if you were thinking, okay, how can I add this to my title? You're probably thinking, this. I mean, you could be thinking this adds quite a few cool bits.
It's just for immersion purposes, I reckon.
Yeah, it's just... Is it going to be another touchpad kind of thing? Are they going, look at all the cool things that you can do? And everyone's going to go, we're not doing any cool things with it. We're just going to stick to actually making a game that you can play.
If you've got the pad and you just like you're not playing any game and you just squeeze it, I reckon it's going to be normal. But obviously the game will know. It'll program it,
accelerate the resistance, so it'll go, oh, this bit needs to be like, as opposed to click, click, click.
Yeah.
But it's just how often is that going to be used? That's the thing. Like the touchpad can do some cool stuff, but it doesn't do it very often.
Yeah. Well, what Craig just said there, Next Gen Renegade, is but the triggers would work nicely for racing game, which I agree, because if you are playing a racing game and say your car's doing 150 mile an hour, you'd expect your brake to have a bit more resistance on there, so it'll be harder to brake. Or
your accelerator, in terms of like going, accelerate, you'd be like going, accelerate, as if you're in a car pushing the accelerator down. See, that's where it kind of works. But then beyond that, into general shooters and things, I mean, it'd be good to see where it actually gets taken to, where they can go with that. Removing the light bar, I mean, I didn't realise there was so many cool applications for the light bar in terms of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. If you get a purple lightsaber, your light bar turns purple. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I've got a sticker over mine, so...
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, even though that's cool, the pad's down there, and I'm looking that way, so I'm not going to see it. I don't usually play in a pitch black room anyway, because it's bad for your eyes, mate. But even if I did, if I play in my setup at home, I have backlighting like we have here.
Yeah.
I've got like different coloured lights, LED lighting, so I'm not going to notice that. Yeah. So it's nice, but
it's like when we play Pro Evo upstairs, something like that. When we're playing 4-player, if you find out what colour you are, the marker on top of your head, just look at your front of your pad.
That's it. But that's it. You do it once. It's kind of gone. But there's things like Uncharted or whatever it was. I was listening to Kind of Funny, and they were talking about the light bar stuff, and they were saying things like certain games, your light bar changes depending on how much health you have, so you'll be green and then it'll go yellow and orange. But I didn't know that was a thing. But that's how little used it is. We play games more than your average person, and we didn't know that was a thing. So it's unsurprising to see that the light bar has been removed from the DS4 to whatever. We'll call it the DS5.
Craig just popped in there as well. Removing the light is shitty, but it also give the pads a big boost in playtime, which I agree as well. I had mine on dim because you probably got like an hour or two out you charge your pad because the light's constantly on. It's just draining the battery of it. So removing that may give a bit more playtime to it as well. And I like the fact it's USB-C because it's just going to charge way faster.
The removing the light bar, there is physical connotations for that. I mean, obviously, if we open the article, if people wants to scroll back up a little bit more, I mean, the main thing is if you can see the bottom image there, so the new application versus DS4, there's kind of a knobbly bit on the DS4, the image on the right. That's because obviously that's where they've had to build the light bar in. There's a bulb in that bit there, so that's gone. So the pad will have a much nicer form factor. There's not an extra bump that doesn't need to be there. But in terms of actual uses, I don't know enough about PSVR and that sort of capability. But wasn't the light bar so that you could use the controller with the VR stuff as well?
There was a few games, like I think there was Astrobot that you could use with the controller for VR. And I don't play VR, so I've no idea what the purpose of it was. But I'm sure there was games like when the console first came out, I can't remember what game it was. It was like an adventure game. You had to shake your pad like this, which the light bar will then be censored by the PlayStation. You don't have to have the camera for it or anything.
I know there is other things as well in terms of like. I assumed it was done by the light bar. I could be wrong, so let me know if I am. In terms of like when you type in something, you could click your touchpad and you could use your mouse, your whole pad, like you could point to go to up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you're going to talk to a friend or send a message or something like that, you can use your pad to be able to do that.
And I assume that's done by light bar.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, it will be.
So like, if they're removing that, are they removing those facilities? I mean, not that I'd ever use that facility. I'd rather use the D-pad to type rather than the stick. I find the D-pad just much faster. But the light bar is like nope.
It's like trying to use a mouse, isn't it? Precision just said the light bar flashes blue and red when getting chased by police on GTA.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Didn't know that either. See, yeah, but that's the thing. It's all cool, but like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I've played GTA on I played it on 2 formats. Not that it would have mattered on the PS3, but yeah, getting to the PS4, didn't realise. I mean, there's cool stuff in it, so like having the speaker and the controller and things like that in the DS4, that's fine. I hope they take that sort of stuff over.
Yeah.
I mean, having a microphone in it, that's kind of cool. I mean, are they planning to allow people to use that as an easy way into streaming, maybe? So like, just sit there talking into your pad. I mean, imagine it's going to sound
quality
horrible. Yeah,
shit.
I'm sat inside a plastic bin.
The sound quality was shit from the headset that you got with the controller.
Oh, that little blue.
Yeah, that little blue thing. Yeah, that was shite.
One ear jobby. Yeah. But I mean, I think the main thing to say from this though is we've got patent images filed. I mean, the patent images will usually differ from what the final images are, and not only that, the patent images might not ever happen.
The patent image is literally just a DS4. That's it.
Effectively. But because they're filing a patent image, they're kind of putting the patent in for what they see their form, not necessarily what their final form factor is being, but what they're kind of going for. It's a bit smoother, a bit more overall. I mean, just Google the word scuff impact and you'll see kind of what we were talking about in terms of how we see it looking. It's got a little bit more stockiness around the body of the controller, but then thinner overall. But yeah. Whether it actually looks like that, we'll no doubt find out holiday 2020 when the PS5 will hit us in the face. But that's the end of the news.
It is.
And I think it's a pretty good time because I need to go to the toilet. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us and thank you for giving us the heads up on the KSI fight. So good effort, Aimbot Christian. Well done. But thank you everyone else that's been in the chat joining us today. Aimbot, I've mentioned, and Snowwolf, thank you very much for the follows. Much appreciated. If you haven't followed and you are here in the chat, do it now. Just do it now. I'll give you a second. There we go. Thank you very much. Now, doing that follow will give you notifications when we go live. We go live 5 days a week at 10 a.m, plus a few extra streams, like Baby was streaming a FIFA tournament last night. Josie will be streaming more Death Stranding today and tomorrow. And obviously, 10 a.m. every single weekday, we will be live here on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads with The Scoop. That's where we bring you our take on the games industry news, like new DS5 controllers, VR games, and Google Stadia just being a big pile of shit in terms of launch projects. But we will have more content on that, no doubt, as the weeks come forward. I mean, more is obviously going to be happening with Stadia, and we will bring you all that. So hit the follow button now, and you will be up to date with that. If you've missed most of this, or any of this, you can go back and check it out on Twitch, or you can watch the full video on demand on YouTube a little bit later on. As mentioned, we will have the podcast version going live on 4 audio services today too. You will find the links to those on our Twitter account, twitter.com/Ice Cream Uploads, and that will all be on there in a little bit. So yeah, not too long from now. Anything to add before we throw these people back into the wider world of Twitter?
Absolutely. Again, as always, if you do see anything that you on Twitter, any articles or anything that you want us to cover, you want our opinion on, then feel free to tag us either on Twitter, which if Graham will bring our faceplates up, you'll be able to find both our Twitter names, and you'll also find the Ice Cream Upload ones, because Pirate has very kindly posted all of those in chat for us. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Precision, for joining us. And until tomorrow, guys.
Do you know, I've not pressed this for a while. I'm going to see if it works. Hold on. Yeah! Sorry for deafening everyone in the... sorry for deafening all our podcast users, but we do have animations. I've just never used them within the Scoop. And I'm not going to, because that's not what this is about. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a lovely day. Josie will be back in around 40 minutes' time as she continues her playthrough of Death Stranding. From me and Bibberino until 10 a.m. tomorrow, stay frosty.